What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Random Jam GEEK YAK show. This is the show where we cover all the different topics, discussions, and reviews in the geek world. And today we are discussing Zack Snyder's Justice League, which has just come out recently on HBO Max, and it is 4 hours long. And today we are covering the entire movie, beginning to end, all 6 parts. And today we are doing a spoiler discussion. So if you've not seen the movie yet, it has been out for a few weeks, but today we are going to spoil it all the way through. I'm Reese, and with me here is Taylor. How are you doing, Taylor? Are you excited to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Yes, I am very much excited to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I've been waiting ever since hashtag release the Snyder Cut was a thing. So I'm ready.
Awesome.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am very much ready too. This is going to be a really fun discussion. There's a whole lot of movie to cover here, but the way we're going to do this is we're going to take it part by part through each chapter and kind of break it down, talk about some of the highlights that we enjoyed, talk about things that we liked, disliked, and all of our reactions throughout the whole thing. So let's get right into this. Final warning, if you have not seen Zack Snyder's Justice League yet, go watch it, then come back and join our discussion. If you have seen it, join the conversation in the comments. Let us know some of your favorite parts, and here we go. So let's jump right into this, into part 1. So Taylor, we have part 1, Don't Count on It, Batman.
Okay, first off, just to elaborate, I immediately, just right off the bat, the very first scene, we didn't get no sappy, sad funeral service. That I know it might have been necessary for some people. I didn't need that. I'm good. I saw they died. I didn't need it. I have the big black cover of Superman. Death. I got it. Okay, but it just added so much emotion actually watching him die, watching the shockwave of his voice go everywhere, and seeing it hit literally everybody from Lex Luthor all the way to Themyscira. And then just overall, just a better beginning than the original did. And Zack Snyder did a good job with that. So next thing, we don't even dawn on it. Okay. We know he died. Everybody knows he died. Let's just skip on to the part whenever Batman goes around and starts recruiting his people.
Yep. We just jump right into it. That's the biggest difference that I noticed right off the bat was we're straight into this movie. It begins a completely different way than the original theatrical version. So that was kind of a cool change of pace. It's like we established, yes, Superman has died, and now we're jumping right in to Bruce Wayne trying to recruit Aquaman. What was your kind of thought on how they approached that slightly differently, even with like the different languages and things like that was thrown in there? What was your overall reaction there?
He should have flown. Why did he ride a horse? That looked like it would have been heck to ride through. So yeah, I agree with Alfred. He should have flown. So I thought it was great. There's a little bit more dialogue. I'm kind of curious what Zack wrote and what was used from the original, because I kind of feel like maybe some of the stuff that he chose to use in this was like his version, his cuts of everything, rather than some things that the original decided to pull from. It added a little bit more culture, seeing a little bit different languages and seeing the song that they sing whenever Aquaman leaves. I mean, it 100% just more, this is not in the middle of America. This is obviously somewhere else. So
yeah, it seems like Iceland or something.
Yeah, it broadens your horizon of where the superheroes actually are. It's not just America. It's not just Metropolis, Gotham. They're everywhere. So yeah. I couldn't have been more thrilled. I was excited before the movie started, I'll give you that. But the little things are what made this movie great. So the language, the song, the dialogue between him and Aquaman, and the money and all that kind of stuff. It was hilarious. It was great. The thing was, they didn't make it cheesy funny. They made it action fun. And I liked that, because I didn't need all the stupid jokes that were in the original. I didn't need some of the corny ones. I liked it. I could have done without it though. This is darker. This is edgier. This is Zack Snyder's cut. So I think
Definitely. I love how just out of the gate, Aquaman just has nothing. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He says, "No way, I don't need this," and then makes fun of him for being Batman. What's kind of funny, he's like, man, wearing a bat suit, it is kind of funny that he just kind of like says that in front of all those people, but I guess they don't put two and two together. But basically reveals that the Bruce
I
Wayne's
thought the
Batman.
exact same thing. Thought the exact same thing from the
says a
very
thing
first
about
movie. It's just like a bat. Ha ha. Bruce Wayne. I'm just like, does no one know? Does no one know? Okay, cool. I guess it's just me. I know that he's a rich billionaire. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all don't. Y'all stay on your island. I get it.
And then he's like, bye, and jumps off into the water. So yeah, that was a really cool sequence just overall.
I will say this. I really laughed and I called it when that girl like bent down and grabbed his shirt. I looked at Megan and I said, she's gonna smell it. Watch. And then she goes, I was like, I knew it. And this is how weird could this.
And then they're like, cue the music, and then she starts singing him away.
The singing smell. That's what it is.
So so that concludes the first scene, and then we start to cut to basically setting up all of the different mother boxes and kind of letting us know basically the major plot point of this movie, which is Darkseid trying to obtain all three mother boxes through Steppenwolf. And we're set up with the Amazons over in Themyscira, and they have one of the mother boxes. And here he is. Steppenwolf shows up. He says, "Give me my box," and they say no. And so what I have written over here is mother box keep away from Steppenwolf as they try to run around and keep the box essentially from getting to him, which was really cool. I thought it was interesting how much it kind of differed from the theatrical version. Like it was the same idea, but for some reason they went back and reshot certain things and used different clips. A lot of horses were harmed in the making of this scene. But yeah, Taylor, what'd you think about all that?
I loved it, man. I've always been a huge fan of the Amazons. I think they're just bad A people, and they're just great. Everything about them is great. Their chemistry with each other, the acting is fantastic. It's like I'm reading a comic book, man. I don't have to leave anything up to the imagination. They literally do everything that I would have wanted them to do. And
right.
First off, Steppenwolf looks about 30,000 times more badass.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
Than he did in anything. So
what a makeover.
The suit just, it morphs and forms around injury, around combat, around just every contact. It was great.
It has like a mind of its own, and it kind of feels a little bit more alien in this case.
Seeing it like adjust to getting shot with the arrow to where it softened the blow, like it was some kind of like impact. What am I trying to say? It's like shock absorption. And
there you go.
I thought that was awesome. It's the little things, man, that made it so much better.
Yeah, he just like basically spits those arrows out like it was nothing.
Yeah. Made him, like you said, it made him look more alien, and that was kind of the intention. So
for sure,
I dig it.
But yeah, I would say that whole sequence from the moment he shows up to where they start grabbing the box and they just go run, and then they're like, passing it along to try to keep that going. Like I loved that idea from the beginning, even in the original version. This one expanded on it a little bit more, kind of made it a little bit more action packed, I would say. But I was in it the entire time. I was like, man, even though I know he's going to grab that sucker, they are doing a fantastic job of keeping it from him. All the arrow shooting was amazing. All the slow-mo shots of them jumping and sliding and running, that was also cool. But yeah, I think the way they introduced the first mother box in this version was it was a lot cooler for sure.
I thought it was funny. It's just like, we'll talk about this later on. It's like, we just won this war. Let's stack this on a big old podium. And freaking Atlanteans were saying, let's stack this on the podiums. What do men do? Let's bury it in the backyard. No,
3 feet under the ground. They'll never find it here.
Arthur,
that was literally what I was thinking.
Arthur, we bury bodies deeper than this.
Yeah. But this mother box, you know what? Nobody will ever find it here. We'll just throw it in the woods about 3 feet under. But even what the what the Atlanteans do and just stick it up on a pedestal in the middle of the water.
Yeah.
It's like anybody could just swim in there, grab it, and run
Yep.
off. You know,
Bye.
at least the Amazons put it in like this giant chamber room. You know, that was locked.
Guarded by Amazons every day for it's like that's another thing we were talking about. It's like, man, I hope they have like rotating shifts, you know? Like go in. How many of y'all were here when we opened this building 3,000 years ago? Right. Me?
Yeah.
Do I get a break? Can I go home? Yeah, I'm sorry. That was off topic, but it was pretty cool. I agree.
Awesome. So from there, we move on to the Wonder Woman robbery scene. So this was set up in the first movie, a lot of the same moments, but this one really got a lot more intense. Like when he starts pointing that gun at all those people, that was originally not in the first version. I was like, whoa, this is serious. Like that, it got really intense. What did you think about all that and
I
how this
thought,
was treated?
well, I'm sorry that this is how it happens in the real world. I mean, I'm sorry.
Right.
Zach, he doesn't hold any punches. He makes what we want. We want dark comic accuracy. We've read people get blasted away in comic books. We don't want the kid friendly. We want what happens in the real world. That's what we want. We want to relate to it. That's how adults work. So I agree 100%. Aim it at the people. Okay. And then we see what happens when you aimed it at the people.
Exactly. And I still think that's an amazing Wonder Woman moment. And when she shows up there, and people, give this movie a rap that, yeah, it's really dark. And yeah, it is very, very kind of gloomy, but there are some awesome heroic moments like that one where she just shows up out of nowhere and she starts, dodging all those bullets with their gauntlets. And that to me is like classic Wonder Woman right there.
With a new song.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was really neat.
And I think it was really important because this came out before Wonder Woman, correct? The first one. Didn't it? Or did it not? Oh no, okay. So it came out after the first Wonder Woman, but it wasn't until 85 that she learned how to fly. So when they released this one and they edited that scene where she throws the bomb, in the first one she just jumps and throws it. In this one you actually see her fly out of the building and you're just like,
right. So she would have known how to fly at this point.
Yeah.
There might be some continuity errors between all the movies because this was made before those were made.
Yeah.
But they were supposed to come up after, or like this is set after those movies. So it's like she learned in the 80s how to fly, like you said, and we see that happening here. So it makes total sense. And I love how they kind of showed how all that happened. Not only did she just throw it, that she, kind of went away for a second. You're like, so wait, what happened now? You gonna come back and save us or what?
And then the shockwave just yeets her away from the, I did this.
Right.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Sorry.
Then she comes back and kicks their butt. So classic Wonder Woman.
Yep. And then you got to point out the one little detail when she does that thing and knocks everyone out of it. You just see that hat fly down. You see that police captain just go and just smile.
Yeah, that was kind of cool seeing that reaction from the outside and like half of the building just like blowing up. But yeah, she took care of business and all she had to do was just throw her wrists together and problem solved.
She's always been the best. She's great.
All right, so let's move on to part 2. And this chapter was called Age of Heroes. So this kind of starts to establish all of our Justice League team members a little bit. But we start out with Steppenwolf meeting with, I guess you pronounce it Desaad, and kind of reporting back to him. So what was your first reaction to that moment there? Starting to see some of these gods on the evil end.
Desaad. How many people are we going to pull into this movie from Apocalypse? I can only get so giddy. Okay. I wanted it. Everyone else wanted it. I don't care. No one cares about Steppenwolf. He's a little underling on their planet. He's a little baby boy. Even in the video games, he has like one minor universe on like minor part. No one cares. Games. We want Darkseid. We want Desaad. We want Granny Goodness. Well, we'll get to that later. But seeing the change he doesn't report to himself. Now he's reporting to someone else. Are we going to see Darkseid? That's not Dark. I wanted to say, so when I heard him say Desaad for the first time, I thought I misheard it. I was like, that's a weird way to pronounce Darkseid. And then he popped up and I was like, oh, that's not Dark.
Yeah, they kind of tease you there. And I like how they hold off Darkseid for later on, which we'll get to, but I just thought that was kind of cool. That shows him who he's reporting to, why he's there. They have a little back and forth. And then after this conversation, we move over to Wonder Woman, and she finds that flame arrow that says that, hey, something is going down and we need your help, shot from the Amazons, which we learned a little bit about that in the first Wonder Woman movie and how that works. But yeah, she finds it in that old ruin site. And lo and behold, there's Darkseid on the wall. So the prophecy is being told and unfolded in front of them. Which this scene was added in, was a newer scene. What did you think about all that?
I liked it. First off, you got to have some kind of documentation somewhere about these events. There's always some tomb, something that explains what happened back in the old day. We get that now in our universe, the real thing. People document it. It's got to be somewhere. Something happened. We know from the first movie something happened in the past. Let's get a little bit more clarification. Where did Wonder Woman learn this all from? Obviously her ancestors, who made this tomb with all these people in it. So
yeah.
Including I'm a huge like gods person, like old god, new gods, like Greek, Roman god.
Everything.
I love it all.
The gods.
So seeing just in general how big the arrow of Artemis is compared to the other Amazons was insane. And it's just, I imagine we'll get to that part here in a second. But man, I thought it was great. It gave me the flashback that I wanted. It did. Yes, we're going to get the big flashback that we're talking about, but just the documented history. And then it's just, okay, pre-Darkseid, Uxas, or whatever heck they want to call it. But I thought it was great because it was the first time we see him and actual him on the wall. And you're just like,
oh, yeah. And she has that like poop her pants moment whenever she saw that.
Yeah, she sure did. She was like, oh, crap.
It's like, we're done. Pack it up. Time to go.
Yep.
Got to get out of here. But yeah, that was a really cool part. So from there, Wonder Woman, she meets with Bruce Wayne. They're over at their headquarters over there at his house, basically in the Batcave, Wayne Manor, whatever you want to say. And this is whenever Wonder Woman's passing on that information that she just found out about Darkseid and all this prophecy, kind of to give us all this backstory about, the mother boxes, where they came from, the battle on Earth with all the old gods. That was awesome to see. We're talking about Zeus, we're talking about Ares. We see some lanterns in there. What were your reactions to all this? So we got this in the first version, but it was tweaked a few different ways that just made it even more epic.
I needed more, and Zack Snyder provided.
Well, that's the trend of the entire movie is more. That's literally the theme is more and more and more.
You can't tease me with a Green Lantern and give me so little. We got a close up of this dude. He did more. He fought more.
Mm-hmm.
He died the same, but
poor guy.
We got more power from the entities that we wanted to see more power. The Green Lanterns had so much more. The gods had so much more. We get more fighting. We get more lightning. We get the actor Ares. He was here. Lupin made an appearance again. I mean, come on. And then you got Artemis again. Where are the rest of them?
Mm-hmm.
Still. I mean, you get more interaction between the Atlanteans, the Amazons, the men.
Yeah.
People finally probably realized that was King Arthur. Probably should have. Yeah. But you gave us so much more. Fighting Steppenwolf again. Who cares? Who cares about Steppenwolf? I want Darkseid.
Yep.
He gave us Darkseid.
And they deliver, and then Ares cuts a big old chunk out of the Darkseid's shoulder and says, "You can go home now." And he runs off, he gets a little scared. He's like, I got to get out of here. I just got axed in the shoulder.
You would think that like Steppenwolf, like everybody, like he said in the show, everybody has heard of the Great Rebellion or whatever he calls it. But you would think fighting Wonder Woman and being like, she killed the guy that almost killed my master.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go for it anyway. No, that's it. Okay. Go for it.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
But that was a really cool moment of showing Darkseid's vulnerability a little bit. Of like, he's not impossible to beat. He's just super powerful, and you don't want to let him get his way, basically, because then once you have, it's over, which we find out later how that happens. But yeah, that was just an overall epic battle, like Lord of the Rings, just epic style there. And then we move on. After we've learned about the mother boxes, we move into part 3, which is called Beloved Mother, Beloved Son. And this starts out with a lot of the backstories of our heroes. So we start to see what Flash is up to. He has a whole sequence that was not in the original version. This is featuring him. He's trying to get a new job at this pet place. Looks like some kind of pet overnight facility and or dog walking service kind of thing. And we see a moment where Iris, introduced for the first time now, is about to get run over by this giant diesel because this guy, he just had to, find his burger on the floorboard, and he's sitting there reaching for it. And we see the massive sesame seed fall in slow motion to kind of foreshadow that something bad's about to happen, which I will admit I laughed whenever that happened and was showing that. But yeah, anyway, tell us a little bit more what happens next after I kind of set you up there.
So obviously he took his moment to introduce us to heroes. Okay. I thought the speed, like the super speed sequence with him catching her out of the Gardner truck, by the way, is a hint to the Guy Gardner of Green Lantern. If you didn't catch that, but it could be not. I don't know if playing it, but I thought it was good. His speed was great. I liked it. It kind of reminded me a little bit, I gotta say, but you can only do this so much. It reminded me of the X-Men sequence. But I mean, when you're running in super speed, go down. I mean, what do you expect?
It's kind of a signature thing.
Yeah, you must to be any other super running super fast. Okay, but I hope she's a good Iris West. We'll find out in the new Flash movie. I've accepted that Iris West ain't gonna look like she did in the comics, and I love her in the Flash TV series.
Yeah.
So I don't really care what she looks like as long as she's a good Iris, as a good actress, they have good chemistry, which waiting for the movie, I imagine they will.
And even though we didn't get a lot of interaction there, we did see, we got a glimpse of what Central City's like.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see, what Flash has been up to. And then we got to kind of see how he feels about Iris, in that moment that they have together, just for that, that moment that he saves her. It's like that told us so much without having to tell us anything, basically. That makes sense.
I laughed. It does make sense. And I can tell you right now, I don't think this is one of those moments where I laugh out loud, because me and Megan were watching it together and we see that beautiful scene where they're doing all this. And then we both at the same time went, he's about to look at that hot dog. And then he looks, grabs the hot dog. And I was like, that's Barry Allen. That's something Barry Allen would do. Zack Snyder's just nailing our characters here.
Yep, so, he's over there playing with this wiener right whenever he's trying to save somebody. So and he saves it for later. Who would have thought?
Yeah. And first, another thing that they mentioned, little details, is something I really like, how gentle he was with her, because he knew, like, if I go too fast, I might hurt her.
He'll slam her down.
It's like he knows, it's like he's been the Flash. He knows what he's been doing. So obviously the little details are what make me such a big fan. So,
right. And that kind of explains a little bit that the first version did not. It let us know that he's been Flash for a little while. Like, it seems in the first version that he's very new to being the Flash. It seems like he didn't know how to save people. He didn't know what all of his powers could do. But this version, he knows almost everything that he can do. We see a lot of different variations of his powers in different situations where he does really cool things with them. But this being kind of setting up where he's been. So yeah, that whole sequence was pretty wild. Like as soon as that diesel was coming, I was like, well, somebody's about to get hit by that. And then you just kind of like the domino effect of all the things happening to lead up to it. It's just really cool way to bring that up. But yeah, overall, that was an awesome story. And so from there, we also get a little bit of backstory with Flash's dad. So we go to that conversation with him and his dad in the jail, kind of letting him know what he wants to do with his life, and his dad's just not really sure. But I love how they set that relationship up.
And it's one of those moments. I guess he felt I know there's got to be backstory, but everybody knows already. One thing I love so much about Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, we didn't get another sequence of how he got his powers and how he did.
Yeah.
I could have done without that. I loved it. I'm glad they did it. I can only be told so many times, hey, he killed his wife and he's in jail. Barry needs to do. I liked it. Could have done without it. 4 hours movie, man. I mean,
yeah.
I got to always have more. Advocate. Got to be the devil's advocate. I've got to. Okay.
Yeah.
But everybody knows that. But I do like that they try to make it more personable, though. I mean, he is a new character in the DC cinematic universe, so.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He hasn't had a movie yet, and so this was kind of their way of previewing that story before we get this Flash movie. So as a way of explaining all that, they did a pretty good job. It was like, here's what will happen really quick, and then we move on. So we have that great moment with him and his dad. Then we move over to Cyborg, and we start to get his backstory, which we got little to nothing of in the first version. So this really serves the character, gives the complete origin story, all of his like powers and abilities. So yeah, what was your overall thoughts on how they treated Cyborg in this version?
Needed it. 100% needed it. Yes, we know Teen Titans Cyborg. We know him. We need DC Universe Cyborg. We need it. We need to know what happened. We need to know, okay. Everybody was curious what happened to his mom. We need to know what happened in the accident. We know that she was in the accident. We know she died. We need more backstory. We needed this. We did.
Yeah.
This isn't a character that we've seen thousands of times. We've had thousands of backstories on.
Exactly.
So this one gets the gold star pass because we definitely needed this one.
Yeah.
But it was great. First off, he is a great Cyborg. He is a great Victor Stone. He plays him perfectly. Okay. The sequence flashback when he's watching that lady go through all those problems and then not have money. She's got a family and he gives her all that money. I needed that. I did. Okay. Because we need to know
part of how his AI works and how he's kind of able to visualize the things that he's kind of either hacking into. And it shows us, a more interesting way or it gives us a more interesting way of showing us these ways that these are happening, rather than just like computer visuals and stuff like that we saw in the first one. Like and this kind of gives us visual representation of his powers and abilities.
And it also shows that he's still human. It's not just like, okay.
Yeah, up here he's still Victor. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I see these people going through problems. I'm going to help them out. Because you want to know why? Because I can. So I like that. He's not turning into full robot. We still have just as much Cyborg as we do Victor Stone. We needed it. Okay.
Yeah.
So good job. Good job, Zack Snyder.
Yeah. So after they catch us up with Cyborg's story, they take us into the scene where he meets with Wonder Woman and she's trying to recruit him. After he hacks into the computer over at Wayne Manor, and it's like, hey, what are y'all up to? What are you trying to do with me? And then they have that whole conversation, and he's just kind of trying to let her know that, he feels like an outsider.
Can we hint on the little, how uncomfortable it was watching Alfred watch her make tea?
Yeah.
You got to do Alfred. I got it. You got to do Alfred, you want something? No, I don't.
Alfred, he's particular about his tea.
Yeah, just let me make my damn tea, Alfred.
That's just the way British people are. They're particular about that.
God. It's just I couldn't have asked for a better Alfred. I really couldn't.
Oh yeah, he was
I
great.
felt
Jeffrey
like
Irons.
I felt like this version in the Zack Snyder cut was sassy Alfred. Okay, because in the first one he was just being Alfred, but this one he's not taking crap. Like
Yeah.
anybody says something, he'll throw it right back at you. Bruce, Wonder Woman, he did it to Superman. Well, I hope you're not too late. Come on. Perfect, Alfred, man. Come on.
Hashtag sassy Alfred.
Hashtag
we needed that.
sassy Alfred. Yes. I'm gonna provide a goofy. Me and we're gonna provide a goofy hashtag. Hashtag vision. Hashtag. We got it. We're gonna provide them right here on this show.
Sassy
you're
Alfred.
Lucky you're tuning in.
Yes. So from here, he convinces Cyborg that, hey, we're about to face a giant threat and we really need you. And then from there, we get the backstory on Aquaman. So different than from what we saw previously, he is not having this Atlantis life. Like, he is not about it. He wants to be on land. He doesn't really care for his, all of his lineage and all this legacy that he has. He doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And he has this conversation with Mara, who now has an accent, about all that. So what were your thoughts on that?
I don't. We're gonna have Mara soon anyway, so I don't care. I thought of one thing I really thought that was I love that I don't know if they recorded this before or if they did this for this and William Dafoe just came back and did his little sequence, but I loved it. First off, William Dafoe, grow your hair out for more show. Okay, come on.
Yeah.
But that was great. Yeah, I don't care about this. I don't care about the humans. Just leave me alone. Let me do my thing. No, I'm William Dafoe, and you're going to put this suit on. You're going to take that fight. You're going to go.
You're going to go be Aquaman
right now. Okay. Notice how he denied everything, said I'm not doing nothing, and then showed up in full uniform. So I mean, obviously he was like, I'm not taking this. Walks like swims 10 feet.
All right, I'm taking this.
Turns around, goes get it. And then he turns around. Yeah. So I loved that. Thank you for bringing in William Dafoe to give us a little more backstory before Aquaman takes place.
Yeah.
We know from Justice League that William Dafoe's character has been pushing him all this time. Because it kind of jumped out of nowhere in the Aquaman movie that, hey, now, oh, by the way, you're an adult. Here's William Dafoe teaching him how to fight.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. And to my knowledge, this was all done before Aquaman and everything. So originally, Zack Snyder's vision was Mara was going to, they even changed her backstory a little bit, saying that her parents were dead. So that was a little bit different. That ended up changing later on in Aquaman because her dad's Dolph Lundgren in there and he's alive and well. So that was a slight change they made. But originally she was supposed to be with that armor and with that accent. And then William Dafoe's character originally was supposed to look like that. So there's things that was set up when they filmed this years and years ago that didn't end up, happening in the original or in the theatrical cut. It all got reshot and reworked, but it was really cool to kind of see that original vision to where that was headed and kind of his mentality rather than, taking up the mantle that he just didn't have any interest in that. And he's, kind of going his own way. And doesn't care. So that was a nice little shift to kind of see what they were going to set up.
Instead of hashtag leave Brittany alone, it's hashtag leave Aquaman alone.
Yeah, they just keep bugging him. He can't go in the water for two seconds. Like, hey, you got to take the mantle. You got to
gotta go up there. Bruce Wayne harps on my ass. Come down here. You harp. Just what? Leave me alone. No. Anyway.
Okay, so right after this, we get the epic Steppenwolf fight. He shows up, after they had all their arguments, and he's like, well, I'm going to take this box while y'all are over there fighting with each other. I'm going to take this box and head out of here. All right. So, wow. This fight was much more intense and brutal than what we saw originally. And I thought that was awesome, especially when they're just throwing him up against the wall, and you start to see a little bit of vulnerability out of Steppenwolf, but then he chunks Mara across the across the way there, and she gets pretty beat up, and then he gets out of there with the mother box. That was just um, much cooler visuals there, as well as the fighting. So
She hit Johnny Depp. So hashtag go Steppenwolf.
ooh. All right, we're gonna move on
Don't
from
at
that
me.
quickly.
Yeah.
We're gonna quickly move on to part 4, which was the change machine. And this was covering the team kind of coming together slowly but surely. And they meet up with Commissioner Gordon on the roof, and we see the bat signal and things like that. So right now, our team consists of Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Batman, and I think Aquaman. He shows up and joins them a little bit later. But from here, we go to the scene where they are fighting for the fighting Steppenwolf under the Gotham Harbor. They show up in that warehouse. Steppenwolf has got a lot of hostages in there, including Cyborg's dad, and they kind of intervene in that situation. They move out of there and end up into the pipe system, and that does not bode well for them as they're fighting Steppenwolf. And then their buddy Aquaman finally decides to show up when water is involved. So
in full uniform.
Right. So yeah, and that whole scene was just really wild. One moment that stood out to me, and I'll get yours next, but the part where Flash is running, running around, Wonder Woman is falling and the sword's falling, and he just goes up to and think, and then it goes right back up and she catches it. Just really funny ways of going about that. But what was your thoughts on this whole scene in this version?
So the action scene was longer. I enjoyed that. The fighting was basically kind of the same as the original, certain things, but I probably the biggest part that stuck out to me that I thought was the funniest is how fast the Flash could have got them all out of there, like he did in the original. But they decided to this one, him just like being annoying and run in front of him on the stairs and go this way, move over here, over here. And it was like, just pick him up and go, dude. It's like, no, I'm gonna lead him out. Just follow me. You're following me too slowly. So I thought that was hilarious. So
yeah, it's like he still doesn't know how to save people.
Yeah.
But he's got a lot to learn. He definitely has a lot to learn. But
he's a young Flash.
Yeah, he's still a young Flash. But that whole sequence was pretty great. We see the Nightcrawler again. That big old honking machine that Batman uses, which was interesting. How that kind of fell into it. And I didn't realize that was an original Zack Snyder. Like, I didn't realize that was a part of his. I thought that was like a reshot kind of thing. That whole sequence. From here, we finally get the dark side reveal as Steppenwolf reports back to Sabad, or Sabad, however we want to say it. Desaad. Sorry. Desaad. I was saying it backwards. Desaad. But yeah, when the team finally reunites, we finally get a glimpse of Darkseid, and he ain't happy.
No, and we finally get to hear his voice, and that was something that I was very particular about too, because he's always had this deep, dark, I am Darkseid, like just he's supposed to have a powerful voice, and he's always had a powerful voice. So like, last thing I need is for him to pop out of that pillar and be like, "Hello, Steppenwolf." Like, oh God.
Or like how it is in Teen Titans Go, he's voiced by Weird Al.
They did phenomenal with him. His voice was great. His attitude was great. And it was really cool. They did a good job with Darkseid. He could have been bigger. I mean, maybe he's a young Darkseid, but he wasn't like broad, like right. Darkseid is like a walking. Okay, first off, one thing we need to establish: Darkseid came before Thanos. If you didn't know that, it happened. So their build is the same. And obviously Zack Snyder didn't want to copy anything Thanos related in terms of how his physique was. So he changed him. But I can't blame him for that either. But the voice is one of the biggest because it's very intimidating, deep voice.
I mean, I was intimidated. You don't want to mess with
Yes,
him.
just first off, and I kind of thought it was coming. I did. When I saw the Paradians come like onto that bridge and like kneel down, I was like, this is it. Here he comes. And then he pop, and then
Yep.
poor Steppenwolf unclothed self in front of
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
His
So,
true
yeah.
form.
Yep. Oh my
But yeah,
God.
that was a pretty
antler man.
awesome reveal, and kind of established his dominance on, Steppenwolf, and how much he's really the puppet master through all this, and that he didn't have to lift a finger. He's got all of his minions to do his work for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Steppenwolf's over there. No, you can talk to Mona. You're good.
All right,
Okay.
so from there we have a fully contrasted scene with what I called Martha Manhunter and Lois. So they get together, which that was an interesting decision. I for one kind of disagreed with that, because it kind of took the weight of that conversation out as soon as we find out that it was actually Martian Manhunter, posing as Martha Kent. So that was a bit weird, because the whole time they're talking with Martha and Lois, like, you're in it. You're like, this is super emotional. They both experienced the loss of Clark, and they're kind of grieving together. And then she leaves, and it's like, oh well, I guess that wasn't her. So what was your thoughts on that part? Did you agree with the decision? Did you like the twist? Did you not? What was your thoughts?
I have wanted him to be someone since Batman versus Superman.
Oh, sure.
He was hanging out with Carol Ferris, who was Carol Ferris, the Star Sapphire. It's just got to be. She's got to be. He's got to be. Please. I noticed whenever we watched it for the first time, we noticed that Martha she would talk differently than she had in the previous movies. If you didn't catch that, she did. The way that she talked was different. So when I was looking at Megan goes, she sounds different. And I was like, well, maybe it's just the reshoot. Maybe it's just like a secondary cut, and they just And then whenever it turned into Martian Manhunter, I was like, I knew it. They had to make it slightly different, and obviously that is why. So I supported it. I did. One, I wanted it. I'm Martian Hunter in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And having him play who he was playing and be, I think it needed as I did. How is he going to introduce that character?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a very interesting way to bring him in. I definitely was not expecting that. I didn't catch the difference. I was just kind of caught in the moment, and what they were saying, and having that really nice emotional scene together. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of that. I was just kind of like, okay.
Could have been done a different way.
I think they probably could have done that slightly different, but it just kind of off put me just a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that wasn't the emotional payoff that I was looking for, but then bringing him in, it was really cool, because he didn't have his time to shine. And then throughout the entire rest of the movie, I'm like, where is he? Right? When is he going to show up?
You can't have Batman literally say he's probably the strongest guy in the team, and then he's just like, oh, I'm sorry, they're fighting Steppenwolf over there. Nah, I'm cool. I'm gonna go back to base over here, just watch, because he's telepath. He knows what's going on. He's probably. Are they gonna beat him? Should I even? Are they strong enough for me to be on their team?
But anyway, that's neither here or there.
Well, it kind of goes back to the doctor Cho. What's his name? Was it crap?
The guy at Star Labs.
Yes, is the Atom from DC.
Right.
From DC.
They kind of dropped that little Easter egg in there.
Where was he? Where was everybody?
Yeah. Well, I mean, was he the Atom yet? Do we know?
I don't know how many. You freaking Hal Jordan could be at home watching it on his ring, going, "Ha, they got it.
They got this one.
Who knows?
Put this one out. Dark Tide's involved. Never mind.
I saw what he did to me in the cartoon TV version. Okay.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. He's like, I'm out. I'm done with this one. But yeah, moving on.
Moving on. to part 5, All the King's Horses. So
Mm,
this is where we start to get the band together, and
mm.
we're gonna go kick some butt. But first, we got to dig up Superman's grave. so, so the Flash and Cyborg are at Clark's gravesite, and they've realized in order to beat this guy, Steppenwolf, we need to bring Superman back. He's the key to all of this, and so they dig him up, and which that was a very, very different scene than what we had got originally. They even bring up the fact he's like, I could just like be done with this in like 5 seconds if I just use my speed powers, you know. So they addressed that, but they decided not to, possibly to be disrespectful to Superman. So they just kind of, you know, do it the old fashioned way with the shovel. So yeah, we dig up Superman, and he's angry and confused. So, what was your reaction to angry / confused Superman when they bring him back?
I'm glad he didn't have a mustache and a fake upper lip. Angry, confused Superman.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Zack Snyder, for changing that, because it yeah, we don't need that. Okay, just I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm hopeful that they ended up doing some research, and he was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Now that I don't have to have facial hair for a movie, yeah, let's make it right." Because you know everybody wanted to make it. They all did. Every single one. Because after the original, they were done. Didn't want to
right.
reprise any rules. Didn't want to do nothing. And then Zach was like, "Well, what if I do this?" And he's like, "Ha ha! Sign me up. Let's go. Do it right. Do it right." And they did.
Yeah,
So I thought that all of the characters were on board, knowing that to bring Superman back. It wasn't a, well, this is one person's idea. We're going to do this. They acknowledged that we probably need to do this, and everyone was like, "Yeah, we probably need to do this." And not only that, and okay, Jeff Goldblum is not at the back of the room going, "Y'all are too worried about if you can and not worried about if you should." Like, I mean, they know they have to
yeah,
acknowledge the fact finally that everybody was putting invading Earth on hold until Superman and the Guardian. Thank you for finally name dropping the Green Lanterns.
yeah,
Thank you. So finally acknowledging that we need him because we don't have anyone else. It's
yeah.
just us, and we're going to be able to do it. So yes, I was very satisfied.
So to back up just a little bit before that, forgot to mention the way they bring him back. So when Cyborg says, "Oh, I've got the mother box," and they're like, "Well, then go get it." And then so they go get the mother box, and they're like, "Okay, so the only way we can bring Superman back is we use the power from this. We use the little Kryptonian pool inside of that ship, to the way they brought Zod to bring on Doomsday. Same kind of concept there." And they use the Flash is like, you know what? We can make this happen. I can run really fast and have enough power to power the mother
Spark that
box
thing.
to
Yeah.
bring him back. Basically, there's this giant, clear boom, and then to bring him out of this. So that was a really cool way that they explained it a little bit more in this way. I feel like it felt a little bit rushed in the original version, where they're just kind of like, "We're going to bring him back," and then it just happens.
Yeah.
I like how they also showed us the consequences of what will happen when they do this, and we got a little sneak peek. We saw the death of Wonder Woman, we saw the death of Aquaman, and we saw the future that was now in play because of awakening this mother box.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
We will get to that part later on whenever we get to the after credit scene.
Sure, sure, sure.
I thought it was great. Okay, obviously we Flashpoint movie coming out. We know. Okay, so obviously some kind of consequence is going to happen. Actually, have a time traveling portion in this sequence, in this release, so we know something's going to happen. People have seen the Point movie and know that alternate realities can happen. So I was excited. I was happy about it. I also need to point out how giddy the Flash's face was when he came into that hallway and saw the Superman suit like popping out at him. He was just like,
Ah.
yeah. So it's important to notice too. He knows that he can do it.
Yeah.
He knows that he can time travel. He's mentioned that he can time travel. How? How does he know all this already? And I hope they're going to elaborate that in the Flash movie. But this is perfect. We didn't get a big full backstory on him. He knows it. We know it. Let's go.
Right.
Sorry, I got off a tangent.
No, but that's a good point. They might use the Flash to kind of piggyback off of what happened in this movie. Regardless if this gets a sequel or not, they can use some of the knowledge that we have from this and bring that into the Flash movie, whether that's time travel or the Speed Force and things like that. So Superman is back and he is not happy. He's wondering why he's brought back. He goes full Kryptonian on them. They're all trying to stop him, and we get that awesome scene again where Flash is running and Superman is like, he's got like two of the heroes in each hand, and then he looks in the side of his eye and he says, "I see you," and Flash is yikes.
Yep. Yeah, I always thought that was a good one. I always bring back to the race of who's faster. Flashes.
Yeah, and they extended that scene out a little bit. You got to really see some more of that, like just full on Superman, especially with this fight with Wonder Woman. Like he's just like pounding them all to the ground.
And first off, we can't just ignore the fact. I'm glad Batman had those cuffs on because he straight up would have got killed.
Yeah.
Don't just move past that.
He would have been straight murdered.
Murdered. We're talking The Boys murdered, like heat vision sequence. Like, I okay. First, thank you, Alfred, for building those. I was curious why you were going to be that or why you did that at the beginning. And then he straight up, I didn't expect it because he didn't shoot any eye lasers at him in the first movie. So I was like, what's happening here? Oh,
those are the most convenient gloves he's ever made in his life.
Yeah. I also thought it was funny how even Wonder Woman pointed out, gauntlets that reflect. Okay, how about a lasso made out of black? I thought that hilarious. She was like, what else of mine are you going to copy?
Yeah.
Alfred. So, yeah.
All right.
That's why he was so sassy with her.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Superman's back, and then we get to we got a glimpse of that dark side future. And then we find out that while he's, kind of coming to a realization that he's brought back, that the key is Lois. So she shows up, all of a sudden brings him back to reality, which was kind of interesting. It's like, that's all it took. And they sat there and tried to, try to convince him like, hey, we're on your team. We're good. And, here she shows up. Right.
Cyborg just shoots at him.
Yeah. He's like, oh no, I can't.
No.
But yeah, all it took was Lois showing up, and true love prevails there. And then Superman's like, "Oh, I got Lois. Bye." And then they fly off. And then everybody else is just kind of devastated of what just happened because they're not sure if they're going to get him back or not. And then news coverage and the police are like, "Well, he's back, but he's going to kill us all." So
they turn around and there goes the mother box. Bye, Steppenwolf. Sorry.
Right.
And then but I gotta acknowledge. I thought that scene with Cyrus super overheating the mother box was pretty cool. At first, I thought he was trying to destroy it. I kind of thought that too.
Yes.
And then whenever they explained what he did, I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense. So I was like, yeah, okay, there were okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. When they were promoting the original, there was a scene in the previews that had him dying, if I recall correctly. So
it looked like him dying. Yeah.
Yeah. So this made sense. We knew it probably been filmed before. Thank you for explaining everything. I liked that. His death meant something, because if he would have died and it was just oh crap, they got the box, bye, and it didn't mean anything. All right.
Yeah, that whole scene when they're trying to, play keep away again with the mother box, that he comes up with this clever idea of overheating it so that they can track it and things like that. That was That was
Right.
really cool that we got that extra little nugget here. And then him dying really had a lot more meaning. It really showed us some more some different sides of the cyborg relationship with his dad, because the whole movie he's just kind of had a cold shoulder to him, and like they had this mutual respect of like, you know, Cyborg was, you know, grateful to be alive that his dad brought him back to life, but it's just like the intentions were there, but the execution is what really turned him off. And so that's kind of been the tension between them the entire movie, and this kind of pays off that like that father side of him that's like, yeah, I, you know, you're my son and I did bring you back to life and in an unethical way that you do not enjoy nor did you want, but I'm doing this for you and the betterment of humanity. And the actor that plays him, he just needs to stay away from robots in AI, because he's the same guy that starts Skynet. So like if we can just keep him away from from AI and robots from now on, we won't have these kinds of problems.
That is, I hope people make connection. Whether it's after seeing this video of you saying that, I hope they're just not. And that little
Well,
scene when Arnold's like ripping his arm off and he's just on the ground. Yeah. Because that's
where
a
he got
meme.
the inspiration.
now.
If that's a prequel to this, you know, in another universe,
he sees that, he goes, "I'm gonna make my son like you."
Yeah. Yeah, that's so wild that like that he's technically, you know, a father of the Terminators in that movie, and then he's like father of another cyborg and whatever. I'm sure that's part of the reason why they cast him, for that little mini connection there. But yeah, the death of
Could be, who
dad,
knows?
yeah, but the death of his dad had a lot more meaning, and the way they brought that in this version was so much better. So now we've established that Steppenwolf has all three mother boxes, and from there we move on into part 6, which is titled Something Darker. So if you didn't think this movie was dark, now it's about to get darker and darker. So and we find out that that Lois and Clark, they're back at the Kent farm, reunited with his mom. That was a great emotional moment. Just thinking about you know, someone being gone in your life and then them just showing back up like that. I'm sure that was just a lot to take in for them. But a great payoff moment there for him and his mom. And then so after we have that reunion, we finally, you know, Superman realizes that he's back for a reason. He's like, you know, he even tells them, he's like, look, I gotta go hang out with my friends that need my help severely. Like the world's about to end, and they need me. So he, you know, flies his happy butt away and go finds his black suit. Which that reveal. Can we talk about that for a second? What was your reaction? I mean, we knew the black suit was coming through all the, you know, promotional stuff, but to see it actually happen, comic accurate, and you know, the moment where we hear Jor-El talking and his dad Jonathan Kent talking, like that whole sequence, just like lay it on me. What were you thinking?
Goosebumps, chills the
Yeah.
entire time. The only way that it could have been better if he would have had his luscious locks like he did back coming out of the comic.
Hashtag Superman mullet.
Can't yeah. But I loved it because personally I don't think that Jor-El got enough credit.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. Okay. So seeing them both talk to their son at the same time, reminding him of who he was, who he is, what he's doing, and all that,
being a hype man,
obviously reminds him, if he had forgotten, I'm Superman, I'm Clark Kent, I'm human, I'm Kryptonian, I'm a protector of this place. It's like in the span of the moments, we're trying to remind Superman that he's a good guy, that he's a hero, that he's all these things. So it was a great callback to Man of Steel.
Yeah.
He launched off the same way. I got giddy seeing that for the first time too, because my Superman. Thank you. This is my generation's movie Superman. So
Yeah. Yeah. I
but
think the way
I
they
was
treated
allowed
that
to have
was,
the ones. So
yeah, it was
this okay.
awesome.
This is the one that I choose to be my Superman. I know I've had a couple in the past, but this is the one
Right.
I choose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Just the way they roll that out, and basically just like his triumphant walk out of
mm,
that out of that ship with that new black suit on. It was just kind of like, here I am, baby. Let's do this. And
seeing him
they have that flight
walk,
sequence that you're just like
yeah,
you're getting more and more like just they're just building that hype of like he's back, he's bigger and badder than ever. Like,
give me sunlight, give me some radiation. Let's
yeah,
do
yeah.
this. I'm
To
Superman.
the flies out into
Yeah.
space.
Man, so great, so great. Everything about. I love the fact they were talking to him. He was walking past all them suits, and he's like, "No,
No,
no,
no.
there's my other one. No, haha, haven't worn that one yet.
Yeah.
Let's back that one in. It's pretty cool. This is the darker version. I'm wearing the darker suit. So, no, yeah, I thought
Well,
it was good.
apparently the explanation to that is the reason he wears a black suit is because black absorbs heat. It absorbs the sun more, and so him wearing that black suit made him more powerful. So that it explains a lot because meanwhile, while this is happening, the rest of the gang is over there on Earth fighting Steppenwolf, and they're having a bad time. Let's just put it that way. If you go to fight Steppenwolf without a Superman, you're gonna have a bad time.
Thank you.
But yeah, so basically they're having a bad time. Superman shows up, he says,
I'm unimpressed.
"Here I am." Yeah,
that was great.
yeah,
See, it's a callback to Ares chops freaking Dark Side of the chest, and then Steppenwolf tries to chop Superman. He's like, nope. And this breaks that thing. Cold breath punches it. Boom, gone.
gone.
So there was no hesitation as to should I show him how powerful I am? No, on it 100%, and just freaking wrecks him, man.
They're all just standing around watching, like, well, I guess he can take him on his own because we don't need to unite, apparently.
and Aquaman's all right was, I'm gonna take a break. All right, thank you. That's
my man.
Yeah.
Superman comes in, swoops in there, takes care of business, chops up his head, cuts it clean off.
Wonder Woman, what are you doing? Did you see what he did to my people? No, his head's got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that sequence where they're all kind of doing their part, beating him up. Superman, just knocked him around pretty good, and then Aquaman comes in there, stabs him, and then Wonder Woman's like,
I'm gonna kill him.
That's a really nice head you got there.
It'd be a shame if it fell off.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if it fell off.
all in front of Darkseid.
Yes, yeah. Let's mention the fact that the portal is open because of the mother boxes, and they're getting the floor seat view up in or maybe not the floor seats, but they got like the VIP suite checking out the game, and they're losing.
Obviously, there was a little bent up aggression towards Steppenwolf from their side, because it's like, Darkseid's just in there like, yeah, he's family. He's getting his ass kicked. No, I ain't gonna help him.
Yeah, I ain't doing that.
No. But oh gosh, man, I think probably the coolest part of that whole sequence. One, yes, we get to see Darkseid and Desaad, but we've already seen Granny Goodness, like, was probably the tip of the iceberg on that one for me.
Yeah, that's a deep cut.
The Queen of Torture, the leader, the trainer of the Apocalyptian freaking, just the Crucible, man. Where all of the, oh my gosh. So I can't, if anything happens, or I would love to see like Big Barda show up, or Mr. Crap, I just blacked out on his name, but her husband, Mr. something, whatever. So just at me in the comments, okay? But But seeing all it just we got Apocalypse. Finally, we can see Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Just set me up a movie, baby. Come on.
Yeah, I love how they teased it, like because I was thinking, oh, they're gonna fight Darkseid, they're gonna fight Darkseid, but I love they kind of dangle that carrot this entire movie because originally he had plans for at least like 5 more movies, whether or not they happen in the same way. I just love the presence that Darkseid had in that moment, and nothing beats the finale of that fight where they knock him around, chop his head off, and literally kick it, roll it right in front of Darkseid's feet. That was just like the biggest insult to injury. Was just like, here's your dude's head back,
Here's your family member. Not all of them, but no.
And that was so epic. But and then the stare down that they had as the portal was closing, which we'll get into, kind of how that all goes down. Basically, Flash does his little time treatment thing, to when Cyborg is kind of charging up the mother boxes to rip them apart. Flash kind of gets in there to mess with the timing of that, allowing them to close that portal. But that stare down between Superman and the rest of the team and Darkseid, it's like, not this time, but next time. That kind of thought, and the fact that whenever Superman showed up, I'm sure that scared the crap out of him.
Probably.
Because I mean, especially how they saw Steppenwolf just go out like that, I'm sure that all kind of made them go like, "Ooh, let's not today."
We've been waiting for Superman to die. We've been waiting. Crap, he's back.
Right, and I think, and that's part of the reason why they were able to do all they could do is because they knew Superman was dead. But once they found out that he was back to life, it's like that kind of throws a wrench into our plans here. We may not make it out alive.
There was a shockwave that told us he was dead. Where's the shockwave telling us that he's alive again?
Yeah, here's a shockwave. Is a decapitated head.
Yeah, there's a shockwave right there.
Yeah, shockwave. But here I am.
Come on.
Do I look shocked?
Yeah.
But yeah, so wonderful finale there. With the time manipulation and all the stuff that goes down. We don't have to go super into that, but that whole wrap up there was just amazing, and showed us that something darker in the very end there. So moving on from there, we've got our final sequence, which is the epilogue. So basically, and this is entitled "A Father Twice Over." So in this, we get Cyborg's dad. He gets some closure with that. We hear what was said on the tape. We get some closure with Flash and his dad, kind of letting him know and updating him on what he has planned for his career and his future. We start to see what will be eventually the Hall of Justice, the round table and everything like that. So what was kind of your first reactions to seeing an unexpected epilogue here at the very end after everything's kind of wrapped up?
Besides the conversation between Cyborg and his taped father, everything is basically the same as the end of the movie. I mean,
yeah, there
was really not much difference. I mean, but at the same time, they how far away from what they did originally could they have done? I mean, I was happy with it. I mean, it was the end of the movie, so
right.
I've already saw everything that wanted to be different. So everything that ended in the original movie, I was okay with. So since it really wasn't that much different, I got no problem with it.
Right, and having this epilogue treatment kind of made a little bit more sense because it's like, a lot of these scenes we did see within the movie at different times, but like having all these closure moments, and then setting up new moments, such as the Lex Luthor and Deathstroke scene, which was originally a post-credit scene, but in this case, it was fleshed out a little bit more. We find out that Lex Luthor has escaped from the asylum. We originally got an encounter with him and Batman in the first version. In this, they go into the cell. He's not in there. and we cut to him on his nice little boat, and Deathstroke shows up, which would be awesome if they could do some more with that Deathstroke character, because I feel like there's just so much story there that 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 would just be awesome to see, even if it was like an HBO miniseries. But if they were to bring that character back, that's like the one thing I would love to see come out of this is like a Deathstroke series. Maybe even him fighting Batman. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the slightly extended Lex Luthor Deathstroke scene?
I've wanted to see Death for a while. I mean, he was great in the animated movies. He was great in Arrow. Uh, I just like Deathstroke. So I I thought it was great. I like that they went with the classic comic book look where he had like white hair,
Yeah.
and I like the actor that excuse me. I like the actor that plays him too. From,
Yes.
from back from like I'd liked him back from when he was in How I Met Your Mother. Okay.
Oh my
He caught my
gosh.
attention all the way back from then. So yeah. So he's gonna be great. I enjoyed him. There is something whether that happens or not, I don't know. Whether something happens in the Flashpoint movie,
Mhm.
like the post credit that we'll talk about in a second. I don't know. I want more, but I don't know how much they're gonna do because they don't know how much they're gonna do. So
Right. Well, I did love how he straight up Lex Luthor name drops Bruce Wayne and lets Deathstroke know that that's Batman, and kind of sets up an entire story that could be told there between Deathstroke and Batman. So maybe we'll get it, maybe not, but that was just overall really cool extended scene there. From there, we move forward in time to the apocalyptic future. We've got a ragtag Justice League that's surprisingly still around. We've got Batman, uh, Cyborg. Mira has taken over for Aquaman, as we saw he dies to Dark Side. Wonder Woman is no longer there. We've got Flash in a really cool mech suit. And then we have out of nowhere, we also realized that they are working alongside of Deathstroke and the Joker. So that all kind of blew my mind. I'm like, this is the apocalyptic Justice League, and what was your reaction to that moment?
thank you for changing the way that Jared Leto's Joker looked. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, giving
I
him
was
a
not
slightly different look kind of helped.
I personally, God, dude, quit trying to overact and just play the Joker. God, that's just me. I'm sorry. Just everything that he did on the original set of like Suicide Squad and all that. Just God, just play the Joker. Gosh, man, if y'all are having such a problem, y'all better call Mark Hamill and let him strap on a wig and let him come in and play the Joker. Okay, tired of it.
That's probably
So
what they threatened him with the entire time. It's like, don't make us go get Hamill. We'll do
But
it.
I'll get right. But I'll give you that, Jared. In this sequence, I was very satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was good. He didn't overdo it. And at me in the comments, I don't really care whether you liked him or hated him. This is my opinion. Okay, I liked the way he looked. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for removing a whole bunch of the tattoos so I could focus on him and not his tattoos. Okay,
Yeah.
uh, his he the way he talked, the way he presented himself in this. God, mentioning freaking Robin, the boy wonder. Oh my! Why did you send a boy wonder in to do a man's job? I can only do so much, man. The only thing that would have made me feel better if they would have name dropped Jason Todd.
Oh
They
yeah.
had they had original intentions for that to be Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm.
They still do, from what I was told.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. Play it, Zach. Play it however you want to play it. I'm good with it. Thank you for acknowledging Robin. Thank you for acknowledging that Joker kills Robin. I know they showed it on the suit, but oh my God, playing with Batman like that.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of the goal of this scene, was not only kind of show where they've ended up and where he was planning on going with the second movie, um, that he decided to, and this was all newly shot, to have this Batman and Joker interaction. just for old time's sakes, and realizing that they have to get along because they're working together. Like they need each other. He can't just sit straight up killing him because he needs him to help with the fight, and which we see a glimpse of, full on evil, injustice looking Superman.
Yes.
That was just like everything we could have asked for and more. Showing us that Lois was crumbled to pieces, and Darkseid kind of consoling Superman in that moment. That was wild to see. Like never would I've thought to see something like that in a Justice League movie.
I agree. I have always been fascinated with Injustice series, the video games, the comics. I would love to see that on a movie. So I doubt it'll ever happen, until we can clone people to play two people in the same scene. But I imagine it, but I know, budgeting issues. I get it. But I thought it was great. I thought it would have been funny as mess because Amelia Clark has already been semi-confirmed to be the new mayor or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I thought that would have been hilarious. And that's one thing I was talking about earlier after I saw it. I was like, what if they threw her in as mayor in the after credit scene and made people go, what? And just that's how she became mayor. Like that would have been, I would have laughed so hard. Obviously they can't do that, but I thought it was funny. But I loved it. I can't wait to see what they do with it. I can't wait to see what the Flash movie does with any of it. I can't wait.
Yeah, but what was kind of cool, and I kind of saw where Zack Snyder kind of addressed this, the reason why he wanted the movie to end this way with, and not kind of, have a book into it and kind of close the book there. He wanted it to be open-ended because he's like, that's how comics are, or in superhero stories. It's not always, happily ever after. It's like now on to the next thing. And the next thing in this case is, complete chaos and all the issues, that ensued from their actions throughout the movie, and the decisions they make have now led them up to this new timeline reality where Darkseid has taken over and Superman is peak powers and just evil as it can be. And the fact that was just kind of the cliffhanger to say, like, this is where we would go next. And rather than, having that finale like that, really shows it's like that's true superhero storytelling. It's like we finished that, now we're on to the next thing kind of idea. I thought that was a brilliant explanation, but then also a really, really brilliant way to end the film.
Yeah, I agree. It needed to be that way because leaves so much to the imagination of the watchers.
Exactly. And we can either, if they don't ever touch this ever again, we can make our own futures out of it and, decide what we think happens next. But I definitely think that this movie wrapped up well. I think it's what the fans wanted, obviously, because of they voiced that. And before we call it quits here, let's talk about that short little post-credit scene that we got with Bruce Wayne. And finally he shows up. We got our Martian Manhunter appearance for real this time, full outfit. What was your thought on that little punctuation here?
I don't think Ben Affleck could have said a more Bruce Wayne-ish response. Here's a sonic boom, alien drops out of the sky, and he just goes, "Can I help you?"
Yeah, he's seen it all at this point. Nothing phases him.
Batman. No, because Martian John Jones is sitting over there just going, I know he's Batman, but he's not even a little concerned with a giant green Martian that just popped out of nowhere.
Nope.
No. Yeah, can I help you? I want to be on your team. All right. Bye.
Where were you like 20 minutes ago?
That's what I would have said. Been like, did you see us fighting over there and all these parademons and all this stuff? Yeah, I saw them flying outside my window. You didn't want to fight? Y'all had it under control. I was I knew what was going on.
Right.
I thought it was great. I love the way he looks. I love the way he talks. I love the way the way that he presents himself as Martian Manhunter. I care about everyone. I have feelings, obviously, with Martha and obviously with Lois Lane. So I was hoping there was going to be more. I know that they dropped him earlier, but I was hoping that he would have popped up at the end whenever they were fighting. Glad that they didn't, because they didn't take anything away from the original characters. So I'm glad that he popped up at the very end, at least to let Bruce Wayne know, hey, look, I like what y'all are doing. I want to be part of y'all's group. It's my home.
Yeah. And they set that up to where they can do more with him later if they want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's ultimately what this movie's kind of achieved here. As we wrap this up, kind of thinking about the purpose of it was, to finish out Zack Snyder's vision that he did not get to do, given that chance to fully finish it out. Whether or not you enjoy it or not, that's totally up to you. We have 2 versions of the movie to watch and enjoy however you want to. But I just thought it was great that he finally got to do that. And we see in the credits that he dedicated it to his daughter who did pass away, and caused him to have to move off the production. So the fact that this all kind of wrapped up and went full circle there was really nice to see. And yeah, just all the support that changed, the way we make movies now. Like, who's to say that this couldn't happen again with something else? If there's a fan base that wants it and there's a market for it, things can happen. You just never know. There could be a sequel to this, there could be more movies. We never know. So, and you just can't ever take no for an answer. And you can't, never say never.
And never forget how, like you just said, never forget how much impact you as an audience member has. Because without hashtag release the Snyder Cut and all the promotion from the people that made the movie, none of this would have happened.
Right. And even on the other end, the way that Zack Snyder kind of presented himself through this entire process, from, leaving the production and kind of just letting them finish the movie, and then, sit with this other version of the film and kind of, let people know, hey, this exists. Don't know if it's ever going to get finished or not, but it's here. We can do something with it. And then the fans rallying around him in reaction to his, his connection with his fans. So he could have easily just disregarded all of that desire and demand. But instead he decided to, kind of fall in line with that and give the fans what they wanted. So that shows on both sides, like, what you can accomplish when you all work together, which is, the theme of the movie,
And HBO having his back 110% was another thing that made me really happy about that. So good job, HBO. Good job, cast. Good job, Zack Snyder. Good job, you as an audience and a viewer.
Yeah.
So
everybody gets a little pat on the back.
Everybody, except for the director of the first one. I'm going to be nice and not say any names. You know who you are.
All right. Well, so that was our spoiler discussion of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Taylor, if you don't have anything else to add before we go, I'm Reese McKinney. You can find me at Reese_MCK. Taylor, where can people find you?
All platforms at Taylor Jackson, except for the A's who use V's. It's that simple.
It's that simple, guys. Make sure you follow and subscribe to the Random Jam channel on Facebook and on YouTube. Yes. Subscribe, check us out. Check out all of our other videos, such as our review on WandaVision. We go into a deep dive on that, and some of the other things that we cover in the future. Make sure you check back in. We have videos that come up on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. So great discussion. Let us know, for y'all who are watching this right now, who tuned in. First of all, thank you for joining us. Thank you for talking Snyderverse with us. let us know in the comments what your thought was on the movie. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like. Let us know. We'd love to talk to you about it and keep this conversation going beyond the video. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time.
Bye.
That's a dog. I was Reese. And this is Taylor. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Stay geeky, y'all.